our critical areas for funding is Mr. David Ransford, who is Vice President of Marquette National Bank. I don't believe Mr. Ransford was able to be here this evening, but we wanted to acknowledge him as having been very instrumental in moving us along towards this effort. At this time, I'd like to ask a special person, another special person, to come up and say a few words. He is the president of Brown's Chicken and Pasta, who have now currently 80 stores throughout the U.S., and they are moving into other countries, even into Russia, seeking opportunities to move into Russia. We thank God for the relationship between our executive director, Jeffrey Haynes, Reverend Jeffrey Haynes, and Frank Portillo. Very seldom do you meet a person in corporate America who makes themselves readily available to you day in and day out, daytime or nighttime, at home or at the office. Frank Portillo has made an investment in the community towards the lives of the young people in the Chicagoland area, and he continues to do so. Will you help me welcome Mr. Frank Portillo?
Thank you, Dana. I don't know how to talk as quick as you guys talk, and I'm going to really try. But it's funny how relationships start. About 3 months ago, I'm in my office on a Tuesday, and I get this call from Reverend Haynes, and he's telling me that we just closed our store, and it's very bad for the community, and we're going to have to, he just felt bad about it. And what really shocked me is he said, what could we do as his organization to help get this store open? And he proceeded to tell me a little bit about his organization, and that was about, I don't know, maybe 11 o'clock in the morning. Well, he made quite an impression on me, so I said, Jeffrey, why don't you, could you meet me in my office? And I wanted to see, really if he meant what he was talking about. So I said, could you meet me in my office like right away? Like, could you be there around 5 o'clock? He said, yes. So he got there about 4:45, and we talked from, I don't know, he was there with Eric, and we talked from probably 5 o'clock to 7, 8, 9 o'clock. And again, he was very impressive. But I've learned a long time ago, a man is not what he says he is, thinks he is, or wants to be. A man is what he does. So I asked Reverend Haynes if I could go see what his organization is, and not next week, I'd like to go tomorrow. So we made a date to come out here on a Wednesday, and I met Reverend and Eric about 10 o'clock that Wednesday morning. And he showed me what he was doing with the 3-year-olds and the 8-year-olds in the Park District. And that was very impressive. Then we went to the shelter where he has the 8-year-olds to the 20-year-olds. And I couldn't believe what they were doing there. And they didn't have beautiful, city-type buildings, government-type buildings. They just had rehabbed homes that they did with their sweat, and I'm sure they had some professional help to do it, but they were just rehab buildings. Then he showed me a shelter for young men that were that were having some problems, that he was helping teach values and trying to find them jobs. And he's been doing this for quite a while. Well, I'm doing something like that in a different part of the city, in the Humboldt Park area, and we clicked right away. So he mentioned that funding is difficult, and it's drying up, and it's going to be drying up probably in the next couple of years. So he told me what his dreams were. And his dreams are really to get some businesses going that in the community that Reach Out and Touch could own, so he could teach kids, and the profits from those businesses could go out into Reach Out and Touch. Well, I thought that was terrific because, again, that's my dream too, is to take over some old plants in the Chicagoland area and get some ex-CEOs like myself, or present CEOs, not ex, present CEOs like myself, that would maybe form a board of directors, work a deal out with Mayor Daley and say get some kind of a tax break so we don't have to pay real estate taxes for a little while, and set up some kind of factory where we could make some consumer goods like shoes or bicycles or some kind of consumer products where we could have the people in the community make. Thank you. Then we could employ maybe a couple hundred people. We could have a daycare center, and I don't know whether it's legal or not, but we could, part of working in this plant that we would have, it would be mandatory that the employees, they would have to go get their GED. And then we'd set up a deal with the school where they could get their GED. And so that's part of my dream, that's part of the Reverend's dream. So we thought, well, let's start with this Brown's chicken. Said, Reverend, I will donate the Brown's chicken to you. I can't help you with money because we had a financial problem a few years ago when we had a tragedy, but we have resources. We have a management team in my company that have the skills to do training for young people. I will donate that to you. You supply the young people, we will donate the management. We will donate this facility. Thank you. So we'll start at the Browns. Then Reverend showed me another piece of property he has in 63rd and Ashland. I said, well, we'll do it again in that Browns. I said, I've got some equipment, so we'll donate the equipment, we'll donate the franchise fee. I can't donate cash because I don't have cash, but I could donate, again, our people that will help train. So a little while later, Reverend comes up and says, you know, Frank, someone said we should knock that building down and build a little strip shopping center. So he says, we could have a Browns, we could have a bakery, we could have a cleaners, maybe another business that the community needs. So I said, well, I'll tell you what, I will set up the training programs for the bakery, for the television store, and for the cleaners, and I know through the high schools and through our resources, we could get a lot of help to do that. And then the other thing that impressed me about Mr. Haynes is that his dream, and I got to be part of this dream, is he wants to build a 500-room, I call it like a boys' town, a children's shelter, because there's a lot of children that have problems. It's not their fault, you know, it's just they have problems.